Welcome to Pampers and congratulations for the brand trust report. So to begin with, what is brand trust?
Trust is both easy and difficult to understand.
Right.
Essentially, from a human element, everybody uses the word trust and
Sure.
very colloquially, but that's not the way scientifically it's understood. Scientifically, it's a framework of expectations where
Okay.
the truster, the one who's giving the trust, has to have a set of expectations from the trustee who's getting the trust.
Right.
And then, depending on how that is evaluated, the trust goes up or down. So therefore, it is not dependent on the one who's getting trusted,
Sure.
but on the one who's trusting.
Okay.
My expectations matter.
Right.
And therefore, whenever we study brand trust, we have to study the consumer, the one who's actually interacting with the brand, and that's what we do all the time.
Right.
I think that's the basic of it, but it
Sure.
is basically a future-focused contract. You know, you
Okay.
give trust before anything else comes to you. You know,
Absolutely.
you take a job before salaries come to you. They take you up before they know how you're fully going to function despite all the interviews. So it's a future-focused contract that essentially allows you to measure what I expect of you.
Right.
And this can happen in many ways. We've measured it in 61 different
Okay.
attributes.
Wow. What are the super categories?
So in this, actually 61 different attributes of trust
Okay,
exist.
attributes. Right,
of trust.
okay.
What are these? These are basically divided into 10 brand behaviors
Okay.
and 3 different, let's say, what do you call as foundations of trust.
Okay.
The first foundation is building capacity to trust, meaning I have to build the capacity to trust in you,
Sure.
and then you will trust me.
Okay.
The second aspect is to actually showcasing the right intent, that my intention is correct.
Right.
If I show my intention is correct, even by my body language, you will immediately stop trusting me or lessen the trust.
Okay.
And the third is competence, that I have the right relevant competence to complete the job you've entrusted me.
Right.
This builds trust in one way.
Yeah. So you are the brand custodian and I'm the owner.
You are definitely the owner if you're
Okay.
a consumer of the
Sure.
brand.
So, and what is the buying propensity?
So buying propensity is an extension of this. So
Sure.
at one end, trust is very important. It's a
Right.
transactive element, which
Right.
means when I'm transacting with you, I need to have trust. But
Right.
the other part is something that's more internal, that's more
Okay.
desire oriented, my own
Okay.
internal psychology oriented.
Sure.
And that is essentially a part wherein I cannot articulate, but definitely I have internally. For example, if there are 5 brands kept in front of me and I say, what are you attracted to? I will get one brand and pick it up.
Right.
Similar with people, you get
Okay.
attracted to some type of people other than anything else that happens.
Right.
If you add trust at one end and
Sure.
attractiveness at the other end, you make buying propensity. So
Okay.
if you have trust and attractiveness,
Okay.
the thing will be bought.
Right.
That's what it is.
So what is the kind of research that goes into compiling this report?
So this is 450 people across close to about 16 cities, work for about 18,000 hours and extract this data.
Okay.
They are interviewing close to 2,500 people.
Okay.
But many of these interviews are rejected because 50% are rejected because you have to have a very strict criteria.
Okay.
But the most important part of this is to be able to look at it from an authentic point of view. How authentic is this data?
Right.
So essentially what we want to do is to be able to look at it from a point of view of going to these people and asking them 425 questions each
Okay.
to
That's
tell
quite
us
a lot.
quite a bit, and out of which 183 are brand related. So you have
Okay.
to answer questions on whether it's competent, whether it's caring, whether it's empathetic and the like.
Right. And what is residual trust?
So residual trust is essentially the trust that accumulates over a period of time
Okay.
as a residue in a
Right.
good manner and
Okay.
stays with you over a period of time.
Sure.
When you have a high residual trust,
Right.
the chances of you retaining trust despite having a transgression
Okay.
will be there. For
Okay.
example, you look at a particular person and there is some trust issue with the person and you say, that person may not have done it. Let it be. So you will just forgive them. The transgression will be forgiven.
For the long term.
For the long term. If
For
you have
this
residual
data.
trust,
Okay.
absolutely.
Like the Tatas and the
For example.
Nokias.
For example.
Okay. And how many categories you have and subcategories?
So we have 40 different super categories as we
Super
call them,
categories,
and
yes.
292 different categories.
Okay.
And this year again it has increased considerably. It has
Okay.
come into a large section of that.
Sure.
But I think largely it is from a point of view of not adding, but to make sure that there is much more relevance to whatever data we provide, and that's what we're doing.
Okay. And which is the leading category?
The category is F&B, 161 different brands in it, and then
Sure.
after that FMCG, which is
Okay.
121 brands in it, and the
Okay.
last of it is auto with 73 brands in it. These 3 categories alone comprise of 37% of the entire brands.
Great. And where is the Indian forces in the Indian government?
So it stands very high. In fact,
Okay.
it stands high ahead of the Delhi Metro, which is supposed to be
Oh,
people
is it?
being used by. But Indian Forces has always been there in the list. And
Okay.
Indian Forces,
Yes.
Indian Army especially,
Okay.
always comes in the list.
All right. And how about the jewelry and the...
So in jewelry, usually jewelry is a very localized brand
Right.
that comes in. So
Sure.
in the East you'll have an East Indian brand, South you'll have a South Indian brand.
Sure.
But the one brand which has managed to change that, and then they planned it, is a Tata-based brand which is called Tanishq.
Tanishq.
Tanishq leads this particular sector,
Okay.
followed by the brand endorsed by the Amitabh Bachchan family and himself, which is Kalyan Jewellers,
Sure.
and then
sure.
Joya Lucas.
Okay.
And there's a big list of brands
Right.
after.
And what's the scenario post demonetization?
So post demonetization, everybody feels that there has been a mixed bag. Some
Sure.
brands have actually benefited as a result of them being in something like a digital wallet
Wallets.
space. Some brands have not benefited or suffered as a result of being in a manufacturing space where cash is required. For example, garments.
Right.
You know? So that's a mixed bag in that sense.
Okay.
But I think definitely in the long run, the ill effects of demonetization, if there were any,
Sure.
have certainly been taken care of, and they will going ahead be good.
Who's leading in the digital wallet space?
It's Paytm, and
Okay.
it's at the 181st rank, and it is leading by almost, I think, close to 300 ranks from the second.
And then Oxygen.
Oxygen is there, and then you have Citrus,
Citrus.
and you only have three in that particular segment.
And what's the, any case study you want to share which kind of shocked you while you were researching?
So there is the two things in the top 20 that I'd really like to talk about. One is, there are three in fact. One is Apple,
Right.
which has for the first time in 7 years come into the top 5.
Okay, that's
It's not,
surprising.
so it's surprising. It's
Okay.
also something that brings in access. I think it comes in with the access of the brand.
Sure.
You have Patanjali, which has
Okay.
come in from 173
Okay.
to 15th rank,
Okay.
which is a significant
So
move.
what is the secret sauce for them?
Well, they have a secret Baba, for sure. So their secret Baba is doing everything, and that I think the product is the secret strategy for them.
Okay.
They're able to look at the product as something that is going to make an impact into the people's lives.
Okay.
They have entered with the product, and they have yet to work their brand strategy. The brand strategy is not clear yet,
Okay.
but their product strategy is very clear. You use certain products of theirs, and you'll really fall in love with them.
Okay. And what makes a brand the brand to look out for?
So if they are consistent with building their trust element, if they work towards understanding their trust better.
Right.
You know, if you understand something better, you can work in it better, you can add value to it, you can do many things with it. I mean, if you don't know where you're going wrong, you don't know what to do. So those brands which invest in and trust insights
Okay.
definitely benefit. Those who don't definitely suffer in the consequence. And there are brands like, the 4 brands which have gone out of the top 10, last year's top 10,
Okay.
are Samsung Mobiles, which has gone out and has gone to 155th position. Nokia, which has gone to 14th position. You have one more brand, and you have Godrej, which has gone down.
Okay. Reason being?
I think largely the context is more not sticking to a consistent brand mandate,
Okay.
and not being able to build that properly, because it takes a lot of effort.
Absolutely.
It is not just esoteric thinking, it is about data, and you have to get brand trust data inside.
Right. And also the experience.
Experience it, definitely.
What are the brands to look out for?
So as I was saying, apart from Patanjali, you must look out for Jio.
Okay.
Jio has come in into the 19th rank for the first time. Digital wallet brands like Paytm are definitely something to look out for. This is something that's going to matter.
Okay.
Luxury brands are making a big difference.
Okay.
Therefore, luxury cars or luxury fashion products are doing great this year
Okay.
in trust, in
Okay.
terms of trust. Luxury products are not easily trusted because
Right.
they are the more expensive of the lot, so it's not
Sure.
very easily trusted.
Okay.
But in this case, they are. So it's
Okay.
really added value.
How about the kids category? Who's
So in the
leading
kids
there?
category, so I would go to the diapers category.
Okay.
So you'll find the residual trust, the word that
Right.
you used before, is a very significant word because
Sure.
SCA Global, which is
Yes.
basically the Scandinavian company which owns Libero,
Right.
is one of the brands which has actually come to India twice and shut down operations
Sure.
twice. It just
Okay.
recently shut down operations,
Okay.
unfortunately. That it could not. It felt that there was a lot more investment to be done in India before it could kind of go this. So
Okay.
but they are very trusted. So the first one in this, and all between 250 and 275 ranks in the diaper category. So you have Huggies at the top,
Okay.
you have Pampers next, and then you have at 260 or something like that, Libero.
Okay.
And I would say that they should come back again into India because it would definitely be, the product is still available but through
Absolutely,
probably
yes.
a franchisee, but I think they should come back full-fledged into the country.
And any new entrants?
So this is the new entrant. I think Libero is the new entrant there.
Okay.
There are only 3 in that particular.
Right. Otherwise.
Oh, several new entrants are there. I can only talk about the ones that I spoke about earlier, like Reliance Jio, significantly there in the 19th rank. Never been there. Only in 1 year it's come in. But
Sure.
you spend that kind of money and it will definitely happen behind your back.
Great. All right. Thank you so much for
Such a
chatting with
pleasure.
us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Cheers.
Cheers.